भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे।
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे।
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे।
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे।
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे।
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे।
Om Namo Bhagwate Vasudevaya. Taking flowers in hand, we propitiate worship to Bhagwan Vishnu once more. And so on this morning, auspicious and dedicated to your worship of Bhagwan Vishnu, we offer our supplications, we offer love, and our lotus like feet. May you be pleased with us. Hari Om Sri Ganesha Namah, Sri Saraswati Namah, Sri Guru Charana Kamanebhyo Govinda Namo Namah. Om Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangulam Gaite Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Paramanandamadavam Krishnaya Vasudeva Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumara Govinda Namo Namah. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vrindavan Mere Lal Ki Jai. Ram Ram Hare Hare. Snan. May you wash away all our troubles, all our problems, all distresses, we beg of you. Listen to our prayer. Papoham Pap Karmam Papatam Pundarikaksha Trahimam Pundarikaksha Sarva Papa Haro Hari. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Durasnanam samarpyami. Namo Dippe Mahadippe Shivaye Satatam Namah. Namo Prakriti Bhadraye Niyatam Svanata Svitam Vrittastanishwaram Snanam samarpyami. Snanam Vrati Gritam. Hare Rama Rama Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Vasradhan, we offer clothing. Veda Suktam Samayuktam Yagyashama Samanvite Sarve Prade Deva Vasase Prade Kretam Sarva Bhushatike Lomya Lakjani Varana Mayupakar Vasram Upavasram Prade Kretam Upavasram Samarpyami Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We offer the Yagyopaveet. Trembakam yajame sugandhim pushtivardhanam. Urvarukamiva bandhana prityur mukshamamritat. Yagyopaveetadanam samarpyami. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We adorn our murtis with chandan and perfume. May you illumine the pathway of our lives. May you rid us of lust and anger and hatred and jealousy and ego and pride. May you guide us onto the pathway of salvation. May you fragrant the pathway of our lives. May you water away all negative energies from within us and around us. We beg of you, listen to our prayer. Chandanam sulalitam deva kante chamktavani. Gopa Sri Paride Vijayate Gopala Churamani. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Ma Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare.
Hare Rama
Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare.
Palimala Dravya, we offer Hari for purification. We offer Sindhu, praying for Mukti, salvation. May you be pleased with us. Adorations at thy feet now and forevermore. Listen to our prayer, O Bhagwan Vishnu. We beg of thee. Om Haridraya Sarvaso Bhaginani Sarvalankar Muktami Devi Tvam Pratigretam Sindhuram Shobhanam Rakta Sobhaki Sukavaranam Sokaran Kamaram Muksharam Jeva Sindhuram Pratigretam. Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare.
We offer strands of good grass. Root away all troubles, all problems, we beg of you. We offer baleful leaves, to these leaves we offer all lives at your feet. We offer the neem leaves, to these leaves we offer all sickness, all distresses unto you. Who else can we turn to? We turn to you with faith, with love and with devotion. Accept our worship. Vakratunda Mahaka Surikoti Samaprabha Nirviganam Kurumi Deva Sarvakarishu Sarvaram Durbadanam Samarpyami Kasi Vasi Sivasinim Kalabhairo Pujatam Koti Kanya Mahadanam Bela Patra Shivarpram Tat Purushaya Vitmai Mahadevaya Dhimi Tanno Rudra Prachodayat. Om Ambe Ambike Ambalike Namanyati Kaschana Sasrabhadrakama Pil Sabhadrakama Pilavasinim Aim Him Krim Chamundai Viche Namaha. Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare.
Hare Rama Rama हरे हरे
मल्लित्यारिणी सुगन्धिनी मल्लित्यारिणी वै प्रभुमार्तानि पूजार्थं पुष्पाणि प्रतिगृहीतां कर्पूरगौरं करुणावतारं संसारसारं भुजगेन्द्रारं सदा वसन्तं हृदयारविन्दे भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Thinking of your desires, thinking of your wishes, thinking of your petitions, we ignite the flames in our tears. May you be pleased with us. Deep Jyotir Para Brahma, Deep Jyotir Janadhara, Deepo Haratami Papam, Deepoyam Pratigraitam, Shubham Karotu Kalyanam, Arogyam Sukhasamparam, Mama Shatru Vinasha, Deep Jyotir Namostute. We wave the aarti. जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी जय जगदीश हरे भक्त जनों के संकट दास जनों के संकट चन में दूर करे।
ओम जय जगदीश हरे
जो ध्यावे पल पावे दुख बिन से मन का
स्वामी दुख बिन से मन का
सुख संपत्ति घर आवे
सुख संपत्ति घर आवे
कष्ट मिटे तन का। विषय विकार मिटाओ पाप हरो देवा। What are my sins? Swami पाप हरो
देवा।
With faith I bow to you. श्रद्धा भक्ति बढ़ाओ। Together we sing your praises, O Bhagwan Vishnu. संतन की सेवा। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। Together.
जय जगदीश हरे।
With all your love.
जय जगदीश
With conviction from your heart. सिद्धि बुद्धि प्रदे देवी भुक्ति मुक्ति प्रदानी मंत्र मूर्ति सदा देवी महालक्ष्मी नमोस्तुते। या देवी सर्वभूतेषु लक्ष्मी रूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। सत्यनारायण नारायण नारायण ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम।
जय सद्गुरुदेवा।
Naivedam, we offer Persad to Bhagwan. We prepare this Persad with conviction from our hearts. Accept our worship, we beg of you. Om Narayanaaya Vidmai Vasudevaya Dhimai Tanno Vishnu Prachodayat. Brahmarpanam Brahmavid Brahmagano Brahmanahutam Brahmagatina Gantabhyam Brahmakarma Samarinam Naivedam Nivedyami Naivedam Samarpami Gita Ganga Chagayatri Sita Satya Saraswati Brahma Vidya Brahma Pali Trisandhya Muktagehini Artamata Chidananda Bhavagani Vainashini Vedatrai Parananda Tatvarit Jnanamanjani. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
कृष्णार्पणम् ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
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 We offer supari, we offer glow. May you bless us with longevity. May you ward away sickness and distresses from in our pathway. We beg of you. Tambulam, tambulam samarpyami. We offer drops of water. May you be pleased with us. Ajmanim, ajmanim samarpyami. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya.
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
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 हिरण्याघ्रव समर्थिताग्रे भूतस्य जाता पतिरिकयासि सदाधारं पृथिवीं नमः दक्षिणादानम् अहं करिष्ये दक्षिणादानं समर्पयामि ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
पुष्पदान we offer flowers Om Kararvindeन Pararvindam Karvinde Vinavishyantam Patrasya Patrasya Putishyanam Balam Mukundam Manatasmarami Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
Vrindavan Vyadilani Ki Jai. At this time, we join in expressions of welcome by Ari. And so she's going to do the welcome for us this morning. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
Sitaram everyone, good morning. It's nice to see all of you here. Today is a special day, we all know that. So I hope you enjoy this morning's discourse. Thank you, Sitaram.
You could clap better than that. Kara ho jaye, Aarti Ji. Let us all stand. The opening. Shubham karotu kalyanam arogyam sukhasamparam mama shatru vinashaya deepajyotirnamostute yani kani japapani jammantargatanishta tani tani prakshana prade mukam karoti vachalam pangulam gayate girim yat kripatamaham vande paramanandamaadvam Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya cha Nanda Gopakumara Govinda Namo Namah Jai 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 Bhagwatam जय 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 भागवतम
जय 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 भागवतम जय 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 भागवतम
जय 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 भागवतम जय 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 भागवतम
जय 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 भागवतम जय 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 भागवतम
जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती
पापियों को पाप से है तारती
जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती
पापियों को पाप से है तारती
ये अमर गंतये मुक्ति पंतये पंचम वेद निराला नव ज्योति जगाने वाला
ये अमर ग्रंथ ये मोक्ति पंथ ये पंचम वेद निराला नव ज्योति जगाने वाला
हरि ज्ञान ही वरदान यही
हरिदान यही वरदान यही
जग के मंगल की आरती
पापियों को पाप से है तारती
जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती
पापियों को पाप से है तारती
ये शांति दीप पावन पुनीत पापों को मिटाने वाला हरि दर्श दिखाने वाला
ये शांति गीत पावन पुनीत पापों को मिटाने वाला हरि दर्श दिखाने वाला
ये सुख करनी हे दुख हरनी
ये सुख करनी ये दुख हरनी
ये मधुसूदन की आरती
पापियों को पाप से है तारती
जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती
पापियों को पाप से है तारती
ये मधुर बोल जगपंत बोल सन्माद दिखाने वाला बिगड़ी को बनाने वाला
ये मधुर बोल जगपन्न बोल सन्माद दिखाने वाला बिगड़े को बनाने वाला
श्री राम ही घनश्याम ही
श्री राम यही घनश्याम यही
सबकी महिमा की आरती
पापियों को पाप से है तारती
जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती
पापियों को पाप से है तारती
जय 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 भागवतम जय 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 भागवतम
जय 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 भागवतम जय 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 भागवतम
जय 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 भागवतम जय 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 भागवतम
जय 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 जय
शंकर शिवा शंकर शिवा शंभु महादेव शंकर शिवा
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 नन्नी वाहन शंकर शिवा
नन्दी वाहन शंकर शिवा
बोलो शंकर शिवा
बोलो शंकर शिवा
बोलो शंकर शिवा
बोलो शंकर शिवा
नागा भोजन शंकर शिवा
नारा भोजन शंकर शिवा
नागा भोजन शंकर शिवा
नारा भोजन शंकर शिवा
ओ शंकर शिवा शंकर शिवा शंभु महादेव शंकर शिवा
शंकर शिवा शंकर शिवा शंभु महादेव शंकर शिवा
ओ शंकर गुरु शंकर गुरु शंकर भगवानी शंकर गुरु
शंकर गुरु शंकर गुरु शंकर भगवान शंकर गुरु
नन्नी वाहन शंकर शिवा
नन्दी वाहन शंकर शिवा
बोलो शंकर शिवा
बोलो शंकर शिवा
बोलो शंकर शिवा
बोलो शंकर शिवा
नागा भोजन शंकर शिवा
नारा भोजन शंकर शिवा
बोलो शंकर शिवा शंकर शिवा शंभु महादेव शंकर शिवा
शंकर शिवा शंकर शिवा शंभु महादेव शंकर शिवा
बोलो शंभु महादेव शंकर शिवा
शंभु महादेव शंकर शिवा
बोलो शंभु महादेव शंकर शिवा
शंभु महादेव शंकर शिवा
बोलो शंभु महादेव शंकर शिवा
शंभु महादेव शंकर शिवा
ये मधुर बोल जगपंत कोल सनमाद दिखाने वाला बिगड़ी को बनाने वाला
हे मधुर बोल जगपन्न कोल सन्माद दिखाने वाला बिगड़े को बनाने वाला
श्री राम यही घनश्याम यही
श्री राम यही घनश्याम यही
सबके महिमा की आरती
पापियों को पाप से है तारती
जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती
पापियों को पाप से है तारती
जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती
पापियों को
Sing with me,
पाप
everybody.
से
Let's sing together.
है तारती
जय 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 भागवतम जय 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 भागवतम
जय 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 भागवतम जय 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 भागवतम
जय 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 भागवतम जय 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 भागवतम
जय 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 भागवतम जय 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 भागवतम
वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय आसन पर बैठे Let us all please be seated at this time. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ॐ नमो भगवते
शुक्लांबरधरं देवा शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजा प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके गौरी नारायणी नमोस्तुते। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वर गुरुर्साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
भगवते वासुदेवाय।
रिधि सिद्धि दाता सिद्ध शरण वारन वरना सुमिरो बारंबार मदन करन की लाल को गणपति कृपा निदान ज्ञान कानि आनंद भवना देहु मोहि वरदान वरनो भाषा भागवता जय शिवानंद कंद भूतनाथ भवभय हरना भक्ति विषय निर्द्वार गौरवरन मंगल करना हे ब्रज चंद्र मुकुंद ब्रजभूषण दूषण हरना भक्ति चरण शरण नियानि करा जय 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 जगदीश श्वेत शेष महेश यज महिमा अमित वेद वेद जानत नहीं देहु मोहि वरदान राधावदया वद सदा प्रेम प्रेम सिकार नित चित में कटे कटे रहे मोहि चाहिए कछुना और वास्तु प्रभु जगत की बसहि रे मन माए या भाकी जानकी सरा नील कुतिया कायन की पीछे पिरता ग्वाल पाले निसा मोर मुकुट सिर परि धरे कर मुरली उदमा शेष मुकुट के पीठ पता या चबीसो नंदला बस हुए दय मम ऋषि देवा गुरु पर रज दर्शी करहु भागवत की कथा जो सुकदेव मुनि कई परीक्षित निरपटि सो श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रजा
निज मन मुकुर सुधा
वरनो रघुवर विमन यश
जोधायक फलता
बोधहीन तनु जानिके
सुमिरो पवन कुमार
बलबूत विद्या देहु मोहि कृष्ण चंद्र जी की जय। शरणम नारायण भगवान की जय। गोविंद हरि गोपाल हरि हे गोपी गोपी बाला। गोविंद हरि गोपाल हरि हे मुरली ज्ञान लोला।
गोविंद हरि गोपाल हरि हे गोपी गोपी बाला। गोविंद हरि गोपाल हरि हे मुरली ज्ञान लोला।
My adorations, my prostrations at the lotus-like feet of our Brahman Devatas. We have young Pundit ji who came all the way from Sandigrandi with us this morning, and his beloved parents. And so we say welcome to you, and to all of those who are listening to us, and all of those who are viewing us, who have allowed us in their homes and their cars and their places of work. Over the past many days, we say thank you for affording us this opportunity to be in your company. Though kind and no corporate sponsors, when I looked at the caption, I'm seeing one sponsor. I'm not seeing many sponsors. To our sponsor, we express sentiments of gratitude and expressions of thanks. And so we pray that may the peace and the blessings of Paramatma be upon us, and be upon you, and be upon the souls of your Pitras. And so, this morning as we prepare our minds and our souls to listen to the beautiful Katha, I'm happy to see so much of you this morning. I'm very happy. There are many surprises planned during the day. Some of the surprises I don't know, actually they think I don't know about. But I'll tell you as we progress this morning, what are some of the plans of the day that they don't know that I know. And they'll be shocked to know that I know. We prepare ourselves to listen to the beautiful Katha. And so this morning our Katha talks about another manifestation of Bhagwan Vishnu. When we think about manifestation, we think of Lord Vishnu taking these various forms and having these various roops, or these various avatars. But when we think about ourselves, when situations and challenges present themselves to us, we too have to take different forms. Sometimes, though you're the wife and the mother of the home, you have to act as though you're the father, with authority. Sometimes while the father is at home, who is supposed to be the breadwinner, the mother goes to work while the father is there at home. And so a time comes when even us, we take on different roles and different responsibilities. But it doesn't change the fact that we are who we are. It doesn't change the fact that you are that one being. But while taking on these various roles, you acknowledge to be some being different. When you're at home, you're mother or father. When you go to work, you're an employee. In the eyesight of your mother and father, you're a child. In the eyesight of your neighbor, you're a neighbor. In the eyesight of your mother-in-law, you are in-law. In the eyesight of your sister-in-laws and brother-in-laws, you are outlaw. But it doesn't change the fact that you are that one being who you are. The Bhagwat Katha tells us that when situations and life challenges stand in front of us, we must be able to not change the hat that we are wearing, but be able to turn that hat in the different directions to fill the post that is required. So that we'll be able to stand up and face the challenges that life will pour out to us in a dignified way. So that victory will come out of every situation. And so this morning, Sukdev Muni is telling the beautiful Katha to Raja Parikshit. And Raja Parikshit is sitting there. Raja Parikshit, who knows that he will die, his mind is not on death. His mind is not on death, but his mind is on listening to the glories of Bhagwan. When we listen to the glories of Bhagwan, our mind should be tuned into listening. And so, we are nourishing not our body, but we are nourishing our soul by listening. And so, Sukdev Muni telling the Katha, what is he saying? Listen. Saraswati namastubhya varade kamarupini vidyarambam karishami siddhir bhavatu me sara. Om namo bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sukdev Muni vacha Marishika jam agni ka devaraj indra ki देखो वर्णन का रूप रेणुका का होते करने, जिसमें का परशुराम की ब्रह्मादिक का संचित वर्णन होते करने, देखो आश्रम की होते करने, वचन का स्नेह का होते हैं श्राप का परशु देने। गोविंद हरि गोपाल हरि हे गोपी गोपी बाला, गोविंद हरि गोपाल हरि हे मुरली ज्ञान लोला।
गोविंद हरि गोपाल हरि हे गोपी गोपी बाला, गोविंद हरि गोपाल हरि हे मुरली गान लोला।
जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला, जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला, जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला।
जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला, जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला, जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला।
It tells us, Prithvi Par, on the earth, there lived a sage whose name was Jam Agni. Jam. Have you ever heard that word before? Jam? The night before Diwali, everybody say, I'm going to light my Jam ke diya. The old people say, we're going to light a Jam ke diya. Have you ever heard that before? What is that diya for? We sing the right thing? Jam and Yam, they're two different words. Yam is the god of. Jam is who? Jam. That's syllable. Gum is the syllable of. Dum is the syllable of. Lam is the syllable of. Sham is the syllable of who? So then, Jam is the syllable of. You wouldn't know. I'll tell you. Agni, the fire god. Jam Agni was his name. And so, he had a wife. And so, her name was Renuka. Listen to the name, Renuka. Having this wife, they were both very spiritual, God-realized beings. And so one had the control over the element of water, and one had the control over the element of fire. Water and fire. Do they go hand in hand? If there is a blaze, the fireman is trained how to put out a fire. If you don't know the right method to put out a fire, then chances are you'll make the little fire into a big fire. Isn't it? Just like we make the little situations into big ones because we don't know how to manage. Have you ever noticed how the fireman outs the fire? He never pours the water in one direction, but he moves it in different directions, isn't it? Trying to stifle the life of the fire so that the very same smoke that comes from the fire will suffocate the fire and bring it to an end. Now, I would never have known that, but I read that. And so, both of them, they brought forth a son whose name was Parashuram. He was very powerful, but he was a bhakta, he was a das, he was a servant of whom? Anybody here would like to be called servant? Hello? Anybody here would like to be called servant? Are you all awake? Anybody here would like to be called servant? But we take pride. We feel superior when we could look at somebody and say, that's my maid, that's my servant. Isn't it? Hardly ever we say, well, that's my helper, or that's my aid. We say, that's my servant, that's my maid, isn't it? And you feel superior because that person is kind of because of the position that they hold, isn't it? When you have a help at home, you must remember that that is a helper. And sometimes you have to help the help. Because God helps those who help them. You have to learn to help the help. Because you know whether what the help does, the help will never do it the way you will do it. Do you know that? You say to the help, wash it good the first time, so we wouldn't have to wash it the second time. That was the Guru mantra this morning. Do it good the first time, so we don't have to do it over. They had a son whose name was Parashuram. And so, how he got this name? What criteria they used to give him this name? He was a das, he was a servant. All of us, I don't know about you, but I'm a servant. My duty is to serve. That is my duty, to serve. And I am a servant. That is what I am. What are you? When you think of das, you know what's the first thing come to mind? Das is class, isn't it? That's the first thing that comes to mind. But das means servant. Hanumanji took pride in wearing the status of being the das, the servant of Bhagwan Shri Ram. What are we the servants of? We're the servants. A servant can be compared to being that of a slave, isn't it? True or not? True or not? True or not? When you're in the prayers, don't lie. True or not? What are we slaves of? While our servant might be a slave in trying to make you happy, to fulfill all of your wishes, what are you a slave to? You know what we slave over? You know what we crave over? Not the restaurant craver. What we crave over. There is a crave, there is a yearning. And the servant receives a payment based on the work that would have been done to make you happy. But how much of anything will make you happy? The servant gets happy because of performing the duty and receiving a payment. How much or what could possibly make you happy? We are servants and slaves after the wrong things. That's a fact, it is the truth. It tells us he was a bhakta. A bhakta of who? Same kaik tara jab bole jal tal nabh mein madur swabole Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya जग के दुख संताप रे मनवा जब तुझको तर पाए मोह माया की ज्योति बंधन जब तुझको भरमाए, जपना मुख से होली होली ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय,
ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय।
उन्होंने का अपने का पूछने श्री भगवान शंकर की प्रार्थना जपत की मंत्र ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय। देखो माता और पिता का दी कामधेनु का रूप करने वाले, जिसमें का पुत्र परशुराम की परशु की अश्ववादी भगवान शंकर की स्मरण होते स्मरण होते। जप तप में है सच्चा सच है, क्या लेने चल बदलते। पतित पावन नाम है उसका, उसका नाम का जिसके जीवन की जरदिया डोले ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय,
ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय।
Praying to Lord Shiva, Lord Shiva appeared in front of this being, and so Lord Shiva gave first to the mother and father gift. Because of the bhakti, the devotion of the child, the mother and father got a gift. When there is something to eat at home, something that is prepared in the kitchen, on the stove, who does it belong to? Who should it belong to? Hello? Who should it belong to? But do you know that we will expect our mother and our father to share everything that they cook and they have and they have prepared? But the minute you have to share, you know you have a problem with that. Do you know that? When you're buying, you buy selfishly, you buy for yourself. And you forget that there are other people living in the home with you. But when they buy, you expect them to buy for you. True or not? There's some people, they write their name on the cornflakes box. There's some people, they take a marker and put a mark on where the milk has reached to. So if somebody drinks, then they will know. Not if I drink, because I'll pull back some water. I'll teach you how not to be greedy, because sharing is caring. There is a measurement to everything, because you never like to share, but you like to enjoy what everybody else has, isn't it? The minute you look at mother, Ma, what you cook? What is there to eat? I'm hungry. And Ma operates as though she's a machine. She finds something for you. When you go to buy, you never take up the phone and say, Ma, what I can buy for you to eat? What can I get for you? When mother see you eating, mother pass by the box of whatever you're eating, and mother say, give me a mouthful now. And you think it hard, take a little mouthful because I'm real hungry. Huh? But if you pass by mother's box, you could eat any amount. And mother shows no reaction. Strange, huh? Or mother show no reaction. You take their last piece of roti. If somebody take your last piece of roti, how you feel? Because in your mind, you're plotting how you're going to enjoy this last piece of roti. Isn't it? You pass by your mother and you take hers, she shows no reaction. But somebody touch yours and you say, hey, I'm nearly done. Bhagwan Shankar blessed first the mother and the father, not the child. The child who prayed, Lord Shiva did not bless him first, but he blessed the mother and father. And he gave them a cow. What is a cow? A cow is a cow. Giving a cow, the cow's name was Kamadhenu. Kamadhenu means the wishful cow. Anything you went to the cow for and you asked for, the cow will be able to provide. The cow will be able to give with no limit. Would you want to have a Kamadhenu? A wishful cow? In the churning of the ocean, the Kalpa Briksha came. What is the Kalpa Briksha? Kalpa Briksha means the wishful tree. And so, when you sit under that tree, whatever your desires are, whatever your wishes are, and you ask, it is fulfilled, it is given to you. That's why, depending on the graha that you have, the Baba says, go under this particular tree and make your offering. Because when you pray, that tree will be able to help you to attain quickly what you are praying for, your desires. That's why in the month of Kartik, the Baba says, offer the dar by the tulsi root. You know why? So you'll find a good dulahin or good dulaha. And just in case you have already found the dulahin and dulaha, you still do the worship. You know why? Not to find the next one, you know. Because that's how the mind is designed. They say you choose and find until you find, you know what? The answer. You still offer the dar, you know what? Praying that your relationship will now become stable. And you will grow to love each other. And your affection, your devotion towards Bhagwan will help you to overcome the hurdles and the challenges that life will bring. And it is prescribed that you go to the particular trees to pray. Bhagwan Shiva gives them Kamadhenu, the wishful cow. And giving them Kamadhenu, this brought joy to their heart. But bringing joy to their heart, they hid Kamadhenu away. Hiding Kamadhenu away, they did not want anybody to see Kamadhenu. For they knew that if anybody found out, they might be in trouble. You'll wear your nice bera and walk high street. Huh? What will happen? What will happen? You can't even take out your cell phone on high street. Because chances are somebody will grab that from you. Huh? And so they hid Kamadhenu away. But Lord Shiva now gave to their son Parashuram as a gift, as a token, the weapon called a Parshu. And so because he got a weapon that was called a Parshu, his name was Parashuram, the control of the weapon known as the Parshu. What kind of weapon do you have? What are you in control of? Hello? What are we in control of? Ria is pointing him out. We can't even control that. What are we in control of? What are you in control of? Your mind? Well, I don't mind. You could tell me how? Because the minute you try to train your mind to go in one direction, it pulls you in another direction. You're sitting in front of the Murti and you're praying and you know some kind of thought comes to your mind. Some kind of negative energy comes to mind. And no matter how you try to focus your mind and set your mind just keeps tugging you everywhere, pulling you here, there, everywhere. Sit down in front of the baby and the mind saying, I wonder if they find a curry boy. From experience, I can tell you that after the Persad is charhawed in every puja, they come to you and they say, hey, where the Persad bag? And then your mind begins to work, though you're in front of the altar, and you say, it's on top of the fridge. And if it's not on the fridge, check in a bag under the couch. And the mind thinking, where did I put it? When your thought is supposed to be on puja, your thought is on bag. You might get a bag blessing after the puja. Not a Louis Vuitton bag, you know, a Persad bag. Because that's what you thought of. What are we in control of? I want to tell you this morning that whether how authoritative you think you are, and whether how much control you think you have, you are in control of zero, nothing. God is in control of everything. Do you believe that? Nothing happens without the grace and the blessings of Bhagwan. He uses you as a vehicle, as a vessel. But he is always in control. And so Parashuram, having this weapon, what will happen? The Katha tells us something is about to happen. Parashuram is blessed with a Parshu, and Jam, Agni and Renuka, they are blessed with a cow, Kamadhenu. visiting their ghar. Ghar means their home. Some being is visiting. Who is visiting? Listening. Hari Sundar Nanda Mukunda Hari Narayan Hari Om.
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 Hari Keshava Hari Govinda Hari Narayan Hari Om.
Hari Keshava Hari Govinda Hari Narayan Hari Om.
Hari Sundar Nanda Mukunda Hari Narayan Hari Om. Clap your hands and sing it, everybody.
Hari Sundar Nanda Mukunda Hari Narayan Hari Om.
इसलिए का अपने घर देखो रेणुका का हो गया कि अश्वा देखो राजा की बेटे में बहुत बहुत भूखा दिया का काम रेणु की अश्वार जिसमें पहले की साथ साथ भोजन उन्होंने का परशुराम की आसन बेटे मांगते का राजा की भो करने ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. हरि सुंदर नंद मुकुंद हरि नारायण हरि ओम.
Hari Sundar Nanda Mukunda Hari Narayan Hari Om.
हरि सुंदर नंद मुकुंद हरि नारायण हरि ओम.
Hari Sundar Nanda Mukunda Hari Narayan Hari Om.
हरि केशव हरि गोविंद हरि नारायण हरि ओम.
Hari Keshava Hari Govinda Hari Narayan Hari Om.
हरि के नंद मुकुंद हरि नारायण हरि ओम.
Hari Sundar Nanda Mukunda Hari Narayan Hari Om.
हरि नारायण हरि ओम.
Hari Narayan Hari Om.
हरि नारायण हरि ओम.
Hari Narayan Hari Om.
Visiting their ghar, visiting their home was a Raja. Raja means the king. Now isn't it strange that many times in the Katha you're hearing about a king and the Katha is also being told to who? A king. Isn't it strange? Have you given thought to that? Do you know why? Just to be able to sit and listen to the Katha, you're compared to be like that of a king or a queen. That's what you are. Do you know that? But just in case you didn't remember that, I want to tell you this morning. Everybody here and those looking on, you are like a king and you are royalty just by being able to bask in the glories of the Leela of Bhagwan Vishnu, to enjoy the Katha. You are a king and you're a queen. The king visited their home, and so as the king sat, the king looked at Renuka and he uttered the words, "Main bahut bhuk. I am very. When somebody comes to your home and they tell you they are hungry, what do? What do you say? You say, well, they should have come half an hour ago, the food just done. Children eat it out, they well eat. Huh? Or you say, wait 5 minutes, let me make something for you. We have cricks, we have bread, we have butter, we have cheese, we have tea. What do you want? Isn't it? Renuka was fidgety. She was frightened. She wanted that. What kind of meal will she prepare for the king? What kind of food will a king eat? A king is royalty, eh? What kind of food that a royal person eats? I'm looking at a documentary on the Queen of London. Did you all see? The Queen of London does not eat garlic because she believes that garlic will affect her breath. And when she has to communicate she doesn't want her bread to be smelling anyhow. In the documentary it says, in Trinidad, we try not to eat onion because we think that onion will create a problem with our bread. Isn't it? But some people generally just have a problem. Because hygiene is important. Huh? Cleanliness is next to. And so, Renuka, she became frantic. She became very concerned. What will I prepare for the king? And then she remembered. You know what she remembered? Kamadhenu, the visual cow. Maybe I should go to this cow and maybe I should ask this cow for food. Food to feed the king. And so she went and she looked at the cow and she bowed. And she says, can you prepare royal food for the king to eat? And so Kamadhenu produced many dishes. She fed the king and the king was very happy. And she looked at the king. And now in an effort to make the king happy, she looked at the king and she says, anything you want, you just request it and I will bring it for you. And the king started to name outrageous dishes. And in no time, she started to prepare it. Have you ever tried to name something outrageous, thinking that the people you are demanding it or asking for will not have it, so you'll be saved? And when you ask, they say, wait, I have it. Hold on, I'll come in now. Have you ever experienced that before? After you have eaten the lush meal, they look at you and they say, what do you have for dessert? And you say, I feel I could eat some soursop ice cream. Because you know, soursop is not in season. And they say, wait, I have soursop. And this time your stomach full to your nose. You could hardly even breathe. And then they bring a bowl of soursop ice cream and they give it to you. The king started to name outrageous things. And so she demanded these things from the cow, and Kamadhenu provided them. And so providing them, the king was very impressed. The king wondered what kind of magic is happening here. How is she able to prepare these things? And so wondering like this, listen, the Gatha tells us. Jyoti janam gavaya sadhu, Jyoti janam gavaya sadhu, Jyoti janam gavaya. गवाया साधु ज्योति जन्म गवाया साधु ज्योति जन्म गवाया ज्योति जन्म गवाया साधु ज्योति जन्म गवाया साधु ज्योति जन्म गवाया। परमात्माय कृष्णाय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। प्रकार अपने का सूत भूत का प्रवेश दे करने, जिसमें रेणुका का वचन सुंदर है, जिसमें कामधेनु की भगवान शंकर के अश्वार तथा होते। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ज्योति जन्म गवाया साधु ज्योति जन्म गवाया साधु ज्योति जन्म गवाया ज्योति जन्म गवाया साधु ज्योति जन्म गवाया साधु ज्योति जन्म गवाया। The king is impressed, and so the king requests, tell me, how are you able to provide all of this food in such a quick time? Tell me. Renuka has the choice to tell the truth, and she has the choice to tell the untruth. When the time comes for us to tell the truth or the untruth, which one we choose to tell? 99.9% of the time, we find it so easy to tell a lie. True or not? Hello? True or not? Sometimes people come to question you and they ask you all sorts of crazy questions. And in an effort not to give them any information. Every time they ask you a question, you tell them a lie. If you're ever inquisitive and you come to me to ask me anything crazy, especially about anybody else, and I realize that you really want to know, I really tell you the not truth. Because I really think it is none of your business. If you want to know about somebody, you should go to them, not to me. I'm not a messenger. I hardly know my own business, so I can't tell you about anybody else's own. And we should all adapt that quality of learning to MYOB. You all know what it means? Then when we do that, life becomes smooth sailing and peaceful. She had the choice to choose if she will tell the truth or she will lie. And she said, we were blessed by Lord Shiva. We were given a Varadan. And so we have a cow whose name is Kamadenu. Kamadenu, anything we ask the cow for, the cow will give us. The king could not believe. So the king said, well, I want to see. I want to see how this happens. So she took the king to the cow, not to impress him, but because he's asking. Somebody ever asked you to see something that you have, and after you show them, days after you hear somebody saying, they say you're well show off. They change the story around and they say you're well show off, you're only boasting about what you have. Huh? But they didn't say, well, I asked to see. Huh? You know, some people want to see what you have than to know how to treat with you and how to deal with you. They hear you have a building, so they take a drive by to see the building. Huh? They want to see what is your worth. Your worth is not what you possess physically. Your worth is what you have inside of you. Do you know that? That's what you're worth. You don't have to have $1 million in the bank to be a millionaire. Do you know that? You must always have a millionaire smile. Sonia, let me see it. A millionaire smile. And that is what makes you a millionaire. You know that? Learning to smile. And you have eyes you could see? Read? You're a millionaire. You have the mouth you could talk, Auntie Angie? You're a millionaire. Angela, you have ears you could hear? You're a millionaire. Kus, you have foot you could walk? You're a millionaire. Samantha, you have a husband named Ishwar? You're a millionaire. The blessing comes in different ways, isn't it? Millionaire is not compared to how much money you have in the bank. Ego makes you a millionaire through money. Humility makes you a millionaire by recognizing how blessed you are. That's a fact. It is the truth. And so the king, seeing this cow, the king plotted a plan in his mind. Seeing the cow, the king who has... Can you begin to imagine how much a king will have? How much is enough? I'll give you an example. Your wardrobe could hardly close, huh? Cindy? The wardrobe could hardly close. So you start hanging on racks outside the wardrobe, on the handle of the wardrobe. Sounding familiar, ladies? But you get invited to the Bhagwat and you say, me have nothing to wear. I can't go because I have nothing to wear, you know. And clothes falling off, eh? Some of the pants you can't rack it up, so you roll it up like a sahina and you push it inside of there. And then you say, when I have some time, I go sort this thing out. Eh? And then years after, you see two cockroaches walking out the cupboard and you decide, I'm going to do some cleaning. And when you start pulling, you say, you know, I forget I have this. And you know, I forget I have that. And you know, look, I buy a next one and I had one already. And then you realize that you have the same color and the same design and the same thing. And you say, don't worry, take away. I will give this one and I will give that one. And now you know, you say I'm doing charity, eh? But you're really giving your rubbish. Something that you don't want, you're giving it away. That's not charity. Charity is giving exactly what you will want for your... That's charity. Charity is giving something that you will want to receive. You don't want to receive something that roll up and mildew up and smelling canfa ball. And looking like it from 1840. You'll want to receive that? But yet you don't want to throw that away. You want to give it to somebody and you say, well, they must appreciate what they're receiving. The king plotted a plan in his mind. And what kind of plan he will plot? He who had plenty behaved as though he has. The child ever eat at home, and then when you carry the child watch you and say, I'm hungry. And you say, but you just eat home. And you say, but I'm hungry now. Or the child goes to the buffet, and the way the mother watches the child taking quarter spoon. Because they know mother mean, don't make me feel shame, eh? Other people have to eat. But do you know some people you have to tell them that, eh? If you don't tell them that, you know what will happen? Nobody else could get food. Why are you looking at me? The king plotted a plan. What did he do? Listen, it tells us. Gopala Gopala re pyare Nande Lala.
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 Sri Paramatmane Namah Sri Govinda Namah Om Namo Bhagwate Vasudevaya. रात में देख और के वचन है, देख और के राजा की नीच के उन्तर दास होते करने चोर दिया कर, देख और कामधेनु का स्मरण उसके का महल का ग्राम तथा करने गोपाल गोपाल रे प्यारे नंदे लाला.
Gopala Gopala re pyare Nande Lala.
Gopala Gopala re pyare Nande Lala.
Gopala Gopala re pyare Nande Lala.
Pyare Nande Lala o बांसुरी वाला.
Pyare Nande Lala o bansuri wala.
Pyare Nande Lala o बांसुरी वाला.
Pyare Nande Lala o bansuri wala.
Gopala Gopala re pyare Nande Lala.
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 The king ordered his servants to go in the night. And you know do what? You know what? Thief the cow. You ever planned to thief something before? We are all Trinidadians, don't lie. You ever see something and you know if you ask you wouldn't get it, so you plan in your mind to thief? Long ago it was a tradition, everybody who went to the airport will thief some of the flowers and come home and plant it. You know about that? Anywhere you go and you saw something growing and it looked pretty, you take it for granted. And actually, the old people had a proverb that they used to justify the action. They say when you thief it, it will grow better. Ever hear that before? So you have to thief it and then it will grow. Because if you buy it or somebody give it to you, chances are it will die. So you have to thief it in order for it to grow. And so the king plotted a plan, and so he sent them to thief the cow. But as his servants went to thief the cow, you know what will happen? The cow refuses to move. Can you lift up a cow? Would you be able to lift a cow? You ever see how the cow operates? If the cow is sitting and in a relaxed mood, chances are there is nothing you can do to get that cow to get up. There's some cows stubborn, eh? They wouldn't move although you're tugging them and pulling them. And you ever see how the animal operates? Especially if it's a bull. You know what will happen? The bull will get vexed with you and put you down. So you have to tread carefully around the animal. They're trying to tug and pull the cow, and the cow wouldn't move. And they go back to the king and they say, King, you have a problem. The cow wouldn't move. How are we supposed to thief this cow? What will we do? And the king sends more servants, more help, so that in the event that the king doesn't get up, the cow doesn't get up on its own, they'll be able to lift it up. I saw on Facebook where they went to thief a cow, and you know what they did with the cow? They opened the back door and push the cow inside the back seat and close back the door and drive out. Did you all see that video? I'm not sure where it was, but I saw that and I thought that it was very hilarious. When you have to put your little dog that you love in the back seat, you spread a sheet and thing, huh? Imagine they put a whole cow. Sometimes your mother, if you go to pick her palmies or somewhere where she went to exercise, you say, don't sit down with your sweaty self on my seat, huh? I'll bring a thing for you to spread first. Huh? Isn't it? Or sometimes when you're too sweaty and you have to sit down in the car, you say, nah, me sit down, I'm nasty. I don't want to sit down and nasty up the seat. It tells us, the servants went to steal a cow, but you know what happened? This time with no effort, the cow got up gracefully and the cow marched into the kingdom of the king. Looking everywhere for the cow could not be found. Ever lost something and say somebody thief it and you blame that person in your mind, you're convinced that that person stole. And weeks after, or months after, or even years after you find it and you say, you know, I was blaming sheep. I was blaming him and I thought, because you saw the same earring, or you saw the same chain, or you saw the same clothing, or you saw the same thing that was missing and you say, in your mind you say, thief. As they stole the cow went willingly. What will happen? The Katha tells us finally this morning. Gopala Gopala Re Pyare Nande Lala
Gopala Gopala Re Pyare Nand Lala
Gopala Gopala Re Pyare Nande Lala
Gopala Gopala Re Pyare Nand Lala
Pyare Nande Lala O Basuri Wala
Pyare Nand Lala O Basuri Wala
Pyare Nande Lala O Basuri Wala
Pyare Nand Lala O Basuri Wala
Gopala 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 Re Pyare Nande Lala
Gopala Gopala Re Pyare Nand Lala
Gopala Gopala Re Pyare Nande Lala
Gopala Gopala Re Pyare Nand Lala
एक बार की राजा उन्होंने का महल दे परशुराम की अश्वादी और जमग्नि का रेणुका का साथ साथ करने वाली जिसमें का चोर नहीं है देख और वरदान का भगवान शंकर का दास होते स्मरण करने श्री परमात्मने नमः गोपाल गोपाल रे प्यारे नंद लाला
Gopala Gopala Re Pyare Nand Lala
गोपाल गोपाल रे प्यारे नंद लाला
Gopala Gopala Re Pyare Nand Lala
Parshuram, using his blessing, using his powers, Parashuram, nobody recognized that he was a manifestation of Lord Vishnu. Nobody recognized this. He was given the name Parashuram because he received this Parshu, this gift from Lord Shiva. And so he is a manifestation of Lord Vishnu. But using his power, the king went to sleep comfortable knowing that he now had this cow. He could ask anything of. But when he got up in the morning, the cow had disappeared and reappeared in the place where it belongs. And so, looking everywhere, the king started to search everywhere for the cow because he now considered the cow to be his own. And then he recognized that the cow was right back where he stole it from. And so, recognizing this, the king wondered what kind of power this cow really had. And so the king now bent his head and begging for Chama, begging for forgiveness from Jamagni and Renuka. He says, teach me. I want to be great like you. I want to be powerful like you. Teach me. And both of them, they point in the direction of their son. Our greatness is through the actions and the prayers of our. The Garudan says, the Putra, the son, takes the soul out of Put. Put means hell. That's why the Putra, the son, is chosen to perform the ritual. Because he takes or helps to liberate the soul out of Put. Put means hell. But while you're living, your son giving you hell. Then when you're dead, how he taking you out of hell? he might sink you more into hell, isn't it? And so, recognizing the greatness of Parashuram, the king now recognized that Parashuram was no ordinary being. How ordinary are you? How ordinary are you? How ordinary are you? Sharon, how ordinary are you? Well, I want to tell you, I am a little bit extraordinary. And if you don't consider yourself to be extraordinary, then nobody will consider you. Do you know that? You're only as beautiful as you allow yourself to. You're only as important as you allow yourself to. You're only as recognized as you allow yourself to. Always remember that. This morning the lesson is teaching us you're important, you're valuable, you're prized. Nothing of the world belongs to you. You are not in charge, but you believe in a person who has the power to help you to attain strength, to be in control of the duties that he has entrusted in you. Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai. Gopala Gopala Re Pyare Nand Lala.
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 Pyare Nand Lala O Bansuri Wala.
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 Gopala 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 Re Pyare Nand Lala.
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 Om Sarva Paparam Devam Gangyam Nirmalam Janam Matmanam Datta Griyana Parameshwara. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Bhurbhuva Svat Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimati Yo Na Prachodayat. Idam Gatre Idam Namama. Om Bhurbhuva Svat Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimati Yo Na Prachodayat. Idam Gatre Idam Namama. Om Bhurbhuva Svat Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimati Yo Na Prachodayat. Idam Gatre Idam Namama. Om Gam Ganapataye Namah. Om Prajapataye Namah. Om Indra Namah. Om Aditya Namah. Om Jagadishvara Namah. Om Namah Sandika Namah. Om Dalti Gauri Mata Namah. Om Kalashvaru Devta Namah. Om Ishta Devta Namah. Om Gram Devta Namah. Om Stan Devta Namah. Om Dastikpa Devta Namah. Om Suryadi Nogra Devta Namah. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Sarvebhyo Brahmanebhyo Namah. Om Hari Markat Markata Namah. Om Hari Markat Markata Namah. Om Hari Markat Markata Namah. Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara. Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Nase Roga Hari Sabapira Japatani Nantara Hanumat Veera Sankat Se Hanuman Chirave. Man Karm Bachan Dan Dorave. Om Namo Hanumanta Namah. Jai 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 Hanuman Gosai Kripa Karo Guru Deva Kinai. Jo Shadavad Pat Karoi Jute Vandima Sukoi. Om Namo Hanumanta Namah. Om Sarvebhyo Devebhyo Brahmanebhyo Namah. Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Papam Pap Karmam Papatam Pundarikaksha Trahimam Pundarikaksha Sarva Papa Haro Hari. Punatu Punatu Om Namo Paramatmane Namah. We find the smoke. Vanaspatira Suravuto Gandaryo Ganadutamagre Sarvarevanam Dhupoyam Pratikretam. We all stretch our hands as we bow. Om Manalanama, Om Manalanama, Om Manalanama, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
You all will want to know how I know, right? But I have a unique way of knowing everything. Nobody told me, I just want to apologize. Nobody told me, I just know. In this session, Sintra is going to sing a few bhajans for us after we would have done the art. Maybe she is now knowing that too. There is also a dance this morning. Is that correct? Just correct me if I go wrong, right? So, surprise. Then at 2 o'clock, just after that session comes to an end, we'll be greeted to the beautiful voice of Rasika Dindia and her group. Surprise. And then, between this session, she's going to sing with her group. Then, in the evening time, we'll be greeted to the voice of not only Rasika, but we'll be greeted to the voice of Budram Bolas, an icon. He'll be here to sing for us. I can't tell you all the surprises at once. So, in the 2 o'clock session, I'll tell you the surprises for the 7 o'clock session. I'm just telling you about some of the surprises. Why are you all looking at me vexed? The surprise wasn't only for me, it's for everybody, eh? Now they're surprised. Are you all not surprised? You're surprised that I spoiled the surprise. Many beautiful things to look forward to. Tonight, a maha surprise. A great surprise. What is that going to be? I don't know. Let us all stand as we join in the closing out. Shubham karotu kalyanam arogyam sukhasam param mama shatru vinashaya deepajyotir namostute Krishnaya vasudevaya devaki nandanaya cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govinda Namo Namaya Yogeshwara Krishna Yatra Pato Danurdana Tatra Sri Vijayo Bhutar Dhruvani Tirmatir Mama Jai 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 Bhagavatam Jai 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 Bhagavatam
Jai 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 Bhagavatam Jai 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 Bhagavatam
Jai 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 Bhagavatam Jai 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 Bhagavatam
Jai 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 Bhagavatam Jai 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 Bhagavatam
जय जय भागवत भगवान की ए आरती
पापियों को पाप से है तारती
जय जय भागवत भगवान की ए आरती
पापियों को पाप से है तारती
ये अमर ग्रंथ ये मूर्ति पंथ ये पंचम वेद निराला नव ज्योति जगाने वाला
ये अमर ग्रंथ ये मुक्ति पंथ ये पंचम वेद निराला नव ज्योति जगाने वाला
हरि ज्ञान ही वरदान
हरि ज्ञान ही वरदान ही
जग के मंगल की आरती
पापियों को पाप से है तारती
जय जय भागवत भगवान की हे आरती
पापियों को पाप से है तारती
ये शांति दीप पावन पुनीत पापों को मिटाने वाला हरि दर्श दिखाने वाला
ये शांति गीत पावन पुनीत पापों को मिटाने वाला हरि दर्श दिखाने वाला
ये सुख करनी ये दुख हरनी
ये
मधुसूदन की आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
ये मधुर बोल जगपंत कोल सनमार दिखाने वाला बिगड़ी को बनाने वाला।
ये मधुर बोल जगपंत खोल सन्माद दिखाने वाला बिगड़े को बनाने वाला।
श्री राम यही घनश्याम यही
श्री राम यही घनश्याम यही
सबके महिमा की आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा।
नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा।
नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा।
नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा।
बराचित छोड़ा वृंदावन संसारा गोपाला गोपाला ही मुरली गोपाला।
बराचित छोरा वृंदावन संसारा गोपाला गोपाला ही मुरली गोपाला।
बराचित छोड़ा वृंदावन संसारा गोपाला गोपाला ही मुरली गोपाला।
बराचित छोरा वृंदावन संसारा गोपाला गोपाला ही मुरली गोपाला।
ओम असतो मा सर्गम्य तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतं गमय मन्त्रीणं ग्राहीणं भक्तिनं जनार्दन यत्पूजितं वा परिपूर्णं तरस्तमे। त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धो शिखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देवा। ओम शांति
ओम शांति
ओम शांति
ओम शांति
उमापति महादेव की जय। पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। अयोध्या राम लला की जय। वृंदावन कृष्ण चंद्र की जय। ओरेसा जगन्नाथ की जय। बोलो वे सब संतने की जय। सियापति रामचंद्र की जय। शरणम सीताराम 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 कहे।
जाहे विधि राखे रामा जाहे विधि राखे रामा ताहे विधि रहिए। सीताराम 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 सीताराम
Saptaha. Let us all please be seated. So Sintra is going to sing for us, Shana is going to sing for us, and our president has asked that I give her a few minutes. So I'm not sure if there is another surprise.
शिव कैलाश के वासी डौलीदारों के राजा शंकर संकट हरना शंकर संकट हरना शिव कैलाश के वासी डौलीदारों के राजा शंकर संकट हरना ओ बोले बाबा शंकर संकट हरना तेरे कैलाश का अंत ना पाया तेरे कैलाश का अंत ना पाया अंत भी अंत तेरे माया ओ बोले बाबा अंत भी अंत तेरे माया शिव कैलाश के वासी डौलीदारों के राजा शंकर संकट हरना ओ बोले बाबा शंकर संकट हरना बेल की पतिया बंग हरि सुंदर नंद मुकुंदा हरि नारायण हरि ओम हरि सुंदर नंद मुकुंदा हरि नारायण हरि ओम हरि केशव हरि गोविंदा हरि नारायण हरि ओम हरि केशव हरि गोविंदा हरि नारायण हरि ओम हरि सुंदर नंद मुकुंदा हरि नारायण हरि ओम हरि केशव हरि गोविंदा हरि नारायण हरि ओम वनमाली मुरलीधारी गोवर्धन गिरिवरधारी वनमाली मुरलीधारी गोवर्धन गिरिवरधारी नित नित कर माखन चोरी गोपी मनहारी नित नित कर माखन चोरी गोपी मनहारी हरि सुंदर नंद मुकुंदा हरि नारायण हरि ओम हरि सुंदर नंद मुकुंदा हरि नारायण हरि ओम हरि केशव हरि गोविंदा हरि नारायण हरि ओम आओ रे गाओ रे गोकुल के प्यारे आओ रे गाओ रे गोकुल के प्यारे आओ रे कान्हा रे गोकुल के प्यारे आओ रे कान्हा रे गोकुल के प्यारे आओ रे नाचो रे रास रचाओ रे आओ रे नाचो रे रास रचाओ रे गाओ रे नाचो रे रास रचाओ रे गाओ रे नाचो रे रास रचाओ रे हरि सुंदर नंद मुकुंदा हरि नारायण हरि ओम हरि सुंदर नंद मुकुंदा हरि नारायण हरि ओम हरि केशव हरि गोविंदा हरि नारायण हरि ओम हरि केशव हरि गोविंदा हरि नारायण हरि ओम हरि सुंदर नंद मुकुंदा हरि नारायण हरि ओम हरि केशव हरि गोविंदा हरि नारायण हरि ओम हरि नारायण हरि ओम हरि नारायण हरि ओम
Seetahal, everyone. So, as we all know, today is a very auspicious day. Not just the fact that we all were able to wake up and come here to celebrate Pundit's birthday, but also to listen to the beautiful discourses that he would have been sharing with us for the past 9 sessions. 9? So, as Pundit usually say, we shouldn't wait until it's too late to eulogize people. We should do it while they're alive. And it's important for us to let everyone who's dear to us know
how special they are, how much we love them, and how significant they are in our lives as well. The value that you place on them in your life. And this morning, I would like to say happy birthday to Pundit Sunil. I'd like to say that you have definitely been one of the most valuable people in my life. And before you, life was just about family, work. Yes, I was involved in religion. I was involved in prayers and praying and all of that. I believe in God is the only source of comfort. But you have opened so many opportunities for myself and my family and all the members of the Ganesh Utsav Foundation for us to learn and to know exactly why we are doing what we are doing. And for that, I'd like to say thank you. I'd also like to say that in a pundit, we also found a friend. Most of the times we think that pundits are, they wouldn't be easy to communicate with because they're on a higher level from us, and we have to tread carefully with what we say, and we always have to pretend to be someone else around them. But with you, we found that we can be ourselves, and that you help us to recognize that even if we have faults, that's okay. And even if we're not perfect, that's okay. And we're all important and special. And I think that is one of the things that I always look up to you for, because a lot of people live their entire lives with no one saying that to them, that they're special and they're loved and they're important and valuable. And you have done that for so many people, so many young and old people. And it's very admirable, Pundit, that you take the time to listen to the older people and what they have to say, because sometimes in society, as people grow old, we tend to forget about them and all the things that they would have done for us to bring us to this point that we are in. And I say thank you from the bottom of my heart for that. So now I have to say what I really came here to say. So what we decided to do was to do a kata on Pundit Sunil. So the kata will start this morning with me, and then it will continue after each session. So a lot of us knows Pundit. We know him as a pundit, but there's a lot about him that we don't know, right? Some of the things he may not want to share with everyone, but we know that today is his birthday, so we know that he was born on the 16th of June. The year is 1982. So that means that Pundit will be turning 40 this year. 40 and 40. So Pundit is originally from Karapichaima. I'm sure a lot of us didn't know that. And he attended primary school there up until age 7 when he moved to Lengua. But in Karapichaima, his partner was his Aji. He would help her with the cooking and whatever she needed to do, but when she had to make Parasad, he was most present and willing to assist. As we know till this day, he is the Persad king. So he always volunteers to make the Persad whenever we have an occasion or a celebration or event. He is the one making the Persad. And very rarely you would find the Pundit making the Persad. And we say thank you for this, Pundit. Your Persad is awesome. It's delicious. It's not as good as my husband's, but thank you. You all know I have to say that, right? So after he moved to Langua, Pundit would have helped his nanny in her shop. So his nanny now became his other partner. And that is where life really changed for him, because he became a little more mischievous in Langua. I guess it's because he had a lot of friends in Langua to make mischief with. So, but one of the things that his mother would always be fearful of is him burning down the house, because he loved to play with matches. Until today, Pandit's most favorite part of the puja is the hawan, because, it involves fire and lighting up bush in the back of the house. Yeah, favorite. So his mom was always fearful that he would do some kind of mischief and set a fire. The only time his parents would know where he is when he was going to church. But they never stopped him because they know that he would learn something. And till today, Pundit always teaches us that, all roads lead to one God. So even at that tender age, he had realized that it doesn't matter what religion you belong to. So he always talks about how talkative he was in school, but his mom said this is very, very a mild description of how talkative he was, right? And he would always spend time with the elder people in the villages and listen to their stories and be very talkative with them as well. So this is how Pundit would have known about all the old-time days. And, you have to be old like him to know these things. So, as we know, or we must have heard somewhere along the line, Pundit does have an elder brother who his mom says is the total opposite of him. And she says, thank God. Because she said if she had two Sunils, she don't know what she would have done, because he's not one handful, but 10 handfuls. So, but she loves you dearly, despite your mischievous ways. Just need to let you know that. And up till common entrance age, I will be telling that part of the kata. So please stay and join us for the 2 o'clock session, where you will hear the other part of the kata. Seetahal, thank you.
In reply to you stating that your husband is the best Persad maker, I don't feel offended because I taught him. And so, when I could know that you have absorbed my teaching, I feel proud to know that my student has excelled. So we're going to have a dance? Were you introducing the dance, or do I have to introduce the dance? All I know is we're going to have a dance. So this time we're going to have the dance. The dance is being done by a miracle baby. Let's give her a round of applause.
जय हो शंकरा भोलेनाथ शंकरा आदिदेव शंकरा शिवाय शंकरा तेरे जाप के बिना भोलेनाथ शंकरा चले ये सांस किस तरह मेरा कर्म तू ही जाने क्या बुरा है क्या भला तेरे रास्ते पे मैं तो आंख मूंद के चला तामस मेरा।
नमो नमो जी शंकरा भोलेनाथ शंकरा जय त्रिलोकनाथ शंभु हे शिवाय शंकरा। नमो नमो जी शंकरा भोलेनाथ शंकरा रुद्रदेव हे महेश्वरा।
पांडवों ने पश्चाताप के लिए तप किया था महाभारत युद्ध के बाद। अब भोलेनाथ भैंस के रूप में थे जब भीम ने उनको आगे पकड़ लिया। अब उनका सर वो नेपाल में और घड़ियां रही है। जय साहब जय हिंद।
सृष्टि के
बस
जन्म
दो,
से
7 किलोमीटर हो गया। 7 किलोमीटर बाकी।
पहले तेरा वास्ता
महादेव की मुंडी खा रही है।
ये जग रहे या ना रहे, रहेगी तेरी आस्था। क्या समय क्या
और ये रस्तम आगे बढ़ो।
दोनों में तेरी महानता महानता।
अरे तो इधर अपना इलाका है, चाय पानी मौज से मिलेगा। बस इधर 1 मिनट रुकेंगे। चल चल रुस्तम बस 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 दो आराम से। हाँ 1 मिनट पकड़िएगा जरा। बस 1 मिनट रुकेंगे यहाँ पे।
Prams Bole Sri Satya Sanatan Dharma Ki Jai. Sindra is going to sing one final rendition and then we will all join. Is there something else?
दूर कोई मुरली की धुन पर गीत मिलन के गाए, जाने वाले याद में तेरी नींद न मुझको आए। मोहन की मुरलिया बाजे ओ सुनते से जिया पे मोरे लागे। मोहन की मुरलिया बाजे ओ सुनते से जिया पे मोरे लागे। मोहन की मुरलिया बाजे ओ सुनते से जिया पे मोरे लागे। दूर कोई मुरली की धुन पर गीत मिलन के गाए, जाने वाले याद में तेरी नींद न मुझको आए। दूर कोई मुरली की धुन पर गीत मिलन के गाए, जाने वाले याद में तेरी नींद न मुझको आए। जब चैन से दुनिया सोए हो एक बिरहा तुम्हारा मन जागे। मोहन की मुरलिया बाजे ओ सुनते से जिया पे मोरे लागे। रात कहीं धरती पर जगमग चांदनी बन कर बरसो, ऐसे में आगे तरस दिखा जाए मैं रो रो तरसो। दिल तोड़ के जाने वाले ओ मोहे कुछ नहीं तुझ बिन साजे। मोहन की मुरलिया बाजे ओ सुनते सजी अपनी मुरे लागे। लूटी बहाए सावन बीता, टूट गए वो सपने, जब से पिया परदेस सिधारे रहे न दिन वो अपने। लूटी बहाए सावन बीता, टूट गए वो सपने, जब से पिया परदेस सिधारे रहे न दिन वो अपने। आए बिरहा के बादल काले हो, चाहे घोर अंधेरी मोरी आगे। मोहन की मुरलिया बाजे हो जी अपे मोरे लागे। सुनते से जी अपे मोरे लागे, सुनते से जी अपे मोरे